Hey guys, it's Ninja, and this is my Stamdk build for Outnumbered PvP. So this build is designed for taking on a lot of people at the same time, and dishes out some really good burst damage, and has really good sustain through Battle Roar, and combined with that we have probably the highest ultimate generation I've seen on builds in a while. This is really high ult gen, really high speed, good damage. If you guys like the build, like and sub. The gear sets are very easy to get, as 2 of them are crafted, and you can literally just go and make the build for a relatively cheap cost. So feel free to try it out, feel free to leave any feedback you like, and let's just get into it. Alright, so let's get into the character sheet. Looking at our health, we have 29k health, 26k stam, 14k magic, and buffed up 2500 stam recovery, pretty good. We have 4,600 weapon damage right now. It goes up to about 5.5 to 6k, depending on the setup and all that stuff. And our pen we don't really care about, because we have corrosive armor and noxious breath. It's going to be higher obviously, so don't really care about that. Our resistances aren't like super great. 20 physical, 23 spell, but we are a roll dodging build, so our plan is to not take damage at all, so it's not really that important. 19 points into health, 45 into stamina. Lava Foot is the food, Serpent is the stone, extra recovery. The stats look pretty lackluster, but when we get into the gear, it'll make a little more sense. On the front bar, we're using Veteran Greatsword and Nirnhoned. You want this Nirnhoned and the sword because we again get infinite pen from corrosive armor, so like if you have a maul or whatever, it's not really going to give you much. This gives you the most amount of weapon damage and an extra little bit of burst. There is alternatives. I actually slot on Master's Battle Axe sometimes. I'll talk about that a little bit later. It's sort of a little bit of a different setup, but it works pretty nice. On the back, we are running a Bow of Tava's Favor, Indecisive. This set is super slept on. When you dodge an attack, you receive the Blessing of Tava, generating 12 ultimate over 3 seconds. So 12 ultimate over 3, that means you're getting 4 ultimate a second when you're roll dodging. You're going to get 3 separate ticks of this, so with Decisive you have 3 chances to get 1 ultimate. So this can range anywhere from 12 ultimate a roll dodge to 15. And when we look at another set we're pairing with it, it actually has more ultimate generation. Let's go into that. We're running Daedric Trickery. So Daedric Trickery, we don't have a defense set as I showed before, that's why our stats look a little bit low. But this gives us huge healing buffs, major expedition, major protection, and major heroism. Major heroism is 3 ultimate every 1.5 second, I'm pretty sure. And if you think about it in the same kind of time frame as Tava's Favor, so 3 ultimate every 1.5, you're gonna get 6 ultimate every 3 seconds, right? Tava's Favor is 12. With a cap on 15 if you get decisive on all the procs. Tava's Favor has double the amount of ulti gen on Trickery, and Trickery's ulti gen is already really stupid. So we're going full in. We're going balls to the wall, give me all the ulti you can get. And then we make use of that ultimate with Balorgs. So Balorgs gives us weapon and spell damage, and when we use an ultimate ability, we gain weapon and spell damage equal to the total amount of ultimate consumed. And we get physical and spell penetration. The penetration part isn't as important with corrosive armor, but a lot of times we just want to leap somebody. So if we leap with 150 ultimate or whatever, and we already have Noxious on them, we're going to have like 10k pen towards a target, like 6k damage, and if it crits, then it's going to hit like a shit ton. You're going to fucking one-shot people. It's really good. And this also just gives us a big damage boost when we need it. We get all this ultimate, might as well do something really useful with it. In terms of the gear, I've got 2 heavy and 5 medium. all in well fitted. And you don't really need triglyphs, but like extra mag is always really good. And these are both crafted sets, so you don't actually have to go out and grind anything. You can literally just show up to somebody's guild house and make this armor. On the jewelry, I got, all Tava's favor. Ignore the green one. Healthy is not a bad trade at all, because it just gives us extra health to work with. Even if you went like infused or something like that, you will get like an extra 100 stam recovery or 100 weapon damage or whatever. Or you can get 1,000 health. Up to you. It's mostly, what's your preference, right? And this is just how it is right now. I might change more to Swift. I have one Swift. I found Swift is really, really nice, so I might go an extra one. The build is really flexible and you can tailor it to what you like. Alternative sets. Daedric Trickery isn't the tankiest set out there. It is pretty good, but not super tanky when you got like 10 people on you. And we already get more ulti-gen than Trickery with Tava's favor. So if you want the maximum amount of defense paired with Tava's favor, Pariah is really good. Hrothgar's chill. Next patch is going to do damage based on your armor though, so I have no clue how it's going to turn out next patch, so we'll just have to wait and see. Another option you can do if you don't have Battle Orgs or you just don't want to run Battle Orgs, you can run like a helmet of Tava's favor and then take off a ring for Wild Hunt. This basically gives us 15% movement speed while in combat and 45% out of combat. So with this and medium armor and swift and roll dodging, we are very fast. This is also really good for kiting big zergs. And if you don't feel like the extra 300 weapon damage you get from Battle Orgs is worth it, then you can put this on. Up to you. Moving on to the skills, our first skill is Reverse Slice. This is your AoE execute. You want this over Executioner, so when you have a bunch of people around you and you hit a fat leap and you execute them, you hit everyone. Second ability is Camouflage Hunter. You could swap this out with Venom Claw. Venom Claw has like probably the highest single target DPS because it's just so damn good. But when you got like 6 people on you, 5 people on you, it's really not like super helpful when we're just trying to burst them, essentially. Camo Hunter is really good because in the Fighters Guild passives, it also gives crit chance, right? And minor berserk, which is really nice. And we also get 3% extra weapon damage for each ability slotted. And I forgot to buy this. I think I took that out for something. And you generate ultimate whenever you kill an enemy with just having the ability slotted. Third ability, Noxious Breath. This is your AoE spammable. It hits pretty hard with Corrosive up. There are times when I just pop Corrosive and spam Noxious because it does like 6k to everybody. It applies Fracture and a dot and it just eats them. You want to hit this on people before you start fucking them up because that breach is really helpful for improving your damage. Dizzy Swing. It's Dizzy Swing, There's not really any alternatives to Dizzy Swing, it's just kind of the spammable. If you want, you can run Stone Fist, but that's more for a dot DK, and that's not how I want to build this guy. So I use Dizzy Swing. How you want to combo people, pretty easy. You go up, say this is your guy, hit him with your Noxious, right? Dizzy Swing, and then do a little medium weave. Now off balance, if they're hit by a heavy attack, or something that's like let go a little bit after, holding the heavy attack button down, they will get stunned. Rally, this is your burst heal, and source of minor endurance. This increases our stam recovery, gives us major brutality, and is our big burst heal. Take flight. This leap fucking cracks. This leap cracks. It's leap. I mean, you're a DK, you're gonna use leap. Back bar, we've got Resolving Vigor. This is your first single target heal over time. Heals pretty good. Cauterize, this is your second heal. It's really nice when you don't want to use Rally to heal all the way up and you want to save your big burst heal. You can go like Resolving Vigor, Cauterize for an extra little bump, and then, you know, hit your Shuffle, hit your Rally again, and then get in there. Cauterize, super useful. You're a DK, you're gonna run it. Shuffle, this is like really important to run just in general. 20% damage mitigation from AoE attacks, stuff like Templars, stuff like Dawnbreaker, Beetles, you name it. Also, it gives you immunity to snares and mobilizations for 5 seconds, since we're wearing 5 pieces of medium. Next patch, Dark Convergence is coming out. That's going to be like a big snare, and then you get bombed. This is going to be really useful for getting out. Fragmented Shield. This is here for a couple of reasons. If you're a Stamdk, you probably just want to run this, like anyways. Some run Petrify instead, but it's really important that you have one Earth and Heart ability, like always. Mostly for you mostly want this for the Minor Brutality, for 20 seconds, increasing your weapon damage by 10%. And if you're in combat, you also generate 3 ultimate, and it occurs every 6 seconds. So if we're healing, you know, we're dodging, getting ultimate from Tava's favor, and we need a little bit of a healing buff, you activate this, you're going to get ultimate back from that, which procs with the Decisive, and helps you build a lot more ulti a lot quicker. Volatile Armor, so your armor buff returns direct damage. Pretty simple, it's Volatile Armor. And our ultimate on the back is Corrosive Armor. I would not run anything else because Corrosive is amazing. Basically, it limits all incoming damage to 3% of your max health, and gives you infinite pen. This ultimate can be pretty hard to use. It limits all the damage coming into 3%, right? But if you're against a bunch of Zerglings that have about 10 different dots they're running on you, they all eat you for 3%. So the more sources of damage hitting you, the harder it is to stay healed up and to like fuck them up in Corrosive Armor. You have to be really careful when you use this skill. So, you know, just it takes some practice to use effectively. But it is really, I would not have any other ultimate in an outnumbered situation. It is so good. The race, I think I forgot to mention this earlier, is actually an orc. You could go Nord. Nord is probably the better way to go, honestly, because you get that ultimate generation and defense. But an orc is also really good because when we deal damage, we get some health back. This heal is actually kind of clutch sometimes. And we also get 10% extra movement speed while in sprint. Now this is actually pretty huge. A lot of people are running Wild Hunt, you know, Swift Jewelry and stuff like that. If we look at the orc passive of 10% increased movement speed, that's huge. That is a whole blue, that's 2 whole blue Swift traits. Gold Swift is 7%, so it's even bigger than a Gold Swift on just an extra bit of passive. Really, really, really good to have. Other races, I would suggest Dark Elf, Nord, Argonian, Wood Elf, you know, whatever. Basically anything really works. So we went over the skills. Now I'm going to show you the alternative setup. So you can swap this out for Master's 2H. What this essentially does is increase the direct damage of cleave by 1550 for each enemy in its cone. This scales up to 24 people, and the idea is that you want Corrosive Armor up, which ignores pen. You get that up, you get your Master's Battle Axe, you swap out Reverse Slice for Brawler, because I mean you're going to be spamming it anyways, it's going to hit everyone, it's going to do a shit ton of damage, what the fuck do you need an Execute for? I mean you could technically put it here, if you wanted to. But essentially, you want your Corrosive Armor up, you want as many people in the cone as possible, and then you just want to spam it. And it will give you a shield based on how many people you hit, which is really nice. But even with Corrosive up and this up, when you're fighting like 10 people and you're trying to get them all in this, it really, really hurts. So if you want to do that, you want to pop your Corrosive, pretend Corrosive is up, and then pop your heals, your healing buff, shuffle, another heal, do this, and go. You want your rally to be at around the 5-second cooldown mark. So then you pop your pot if you need extra healing, and then your rally will go off when it's done. And that'll give you another big heal, and you can just keep going in with Brawler. It is really tricky to use though, so only use it if you really want to be spicy. Other than that, Vatishran is probably the most consistent and better way to go. Going into the champion points, I've got Focus Mending, Biting Aura, just to increase the damage in my Leap, Brawler, Breath, a lot of things that you use to burst groups, and Master at Arms. And this one I picked up recently, and I loved it on the Mag DK, and I've been loving it on this as well. It's pretty clutch. Whenever you heal yourself or an ally under 25%, you gain an 11k damage shield. So Outnumbered in open world, if you heal a friend that's low with Cauterize, you give them a damage shield. And that damage shield saves lives, not even kidding. And it's only on a 30-second cooldown. If you're good enough at kiting and maintaining your resources and stuff, this doesn't become a crutch to rely on. It mostly just becomes a good lifesaver once in a while when some bullshit happens. It's really nice. You could even take this out if you want to and put points into Hope Infusion for minor heroism with major. With Tava's favor, you're gonna get a shit ton of ult. You can put it wherever you like. That's basically just a flex CP slot, but I really, really like this and I urge you to try it. For the red CP, the first passive you want to pick up is Survival Instincts. This is probably the most important red CP. While afflicted with a status effect, your core combat skills cost 25% less. This includes things like your roll dodge, your bash, your break free, stuff like that. And on a build where we're using Tava's favor to roll dodge over and over, we're wearing 6 well fitted, or 5 well fitted, or whatever, I don't know, whatever it is. We're roll dodging over and over and over. So we want to reduce that cost as much as we can so we can build ult more consistently. Juggernaut is the other passive, Boundless Vitality, and Ironclad. These two are flexible, like you can swap out Ironclad for Rejuvenation if you really want, or even Slippery if you want to save some stam. It's really nice. Up to you. So that's basically the build. If you made it all the way to the end of the video, good job, you had more than 4 minutes of attention span. If you just skipped here, then you're probably smarter than the rest, because they sat through like 20 minutes of video just to get to the end where you just like skipped ahead. Like that's fucking 1000 IQ plays, dude. Good shit. Anyways, if you guys like the video, like the build and stuff, drop me a sub, especially if you already hung out all the way here. That means you liked it, so fucking do it. If you guys want to see, gameplay of the actual build in action, I have tons of videos, tons of streams and stuff on my actual channel, so go check them out. If you need any tips or anything, or you just want to see like what I'm doing that's like a little bit different than you, and you're wondering like, why is he, here and like fucking doing all this shit, and I'm over here dead in 2 seconds. Well, it's probably because I'm healing. Like if you need to compare, then go ahead and compare. But I don't even know what I'm talking about. Thank you guys for watching. Yeah, bye.